And now, live from the studios of WHUC, this is Real Talk, where we get you something to talk about.
Good morning, and thanks for joining me on today's Real Talk. I'm your host, Tamora Haymon, and joining me today is Utica's Hinds Community College Dean of Students, Mr. Donny Epting. How are you doing today, Dean?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Okay, first I'd like to say congratulations on your new position. How does it feel to be Dean?
Thank you so much. I'll be honest, it is still, in a sense, hitting me. I got, going February 1st, and of course, this has been a case where you hit the ground running, and you have these different things that you have to do. So it's just a matter of taking everything in stride, as Theo once said on the Cosby Show a bunch of years ago, and just taking things day by day. But it's been great so far. It's been definitely great so far.
Okay. You have so many roles, but how has the transition from recruiter to dean been?
Well, the commonality in both of those roles is, of course, the student. Mm-hmm. Now, in recruiting, of course, a lot of that was the point before a student became a student here at Hinds Community College Utica campus. And now I'm, more on the back end, of course, in the dean's role, but still being able to cultivate their relationship with the student at any stage is definitely most important, because we want to have our students' best interests at heart and also be able to have those students trust in us.
Okay. How long have you been at Hinds?
So I started at Hinds back in August of 2015. So this August I'll make 9 years. I initially started in the Office of Financial Aid back in Raymond back in 2015. So I've gone from financial aid to recruiting, now to the role of Dean of Students.
For a short period of time, weren't you in financial aid here on the Utica campus?
For a spell, I was doing some work alongside the financial aid office as the loan default prevention manager. Mm-hmm. So my main goal was to assist students who were either in default, looking to have student loans restored so that they can resume school, but also bring awareness to the different repayment methods of postponing payments and anything that dealt with the maintenance of a student and their loans.
You've been everywhere around the school. Okay, as Dean of Students, what are some changes that we can expect or look forward to?
Well, I'm a big proponent of let's not reinvent the wheel, but sometimes you do have to tweak things, tighten things up. So, one thing that I am looking forward to is, of course, continuing on the tradition that we have here at the Utica campus, maintaining and, of course, continuing on the HBCU culture that we have here around the campus. I'm definitely looking to partner with some of the local HBCUs, establish more of a think tank around the campus, and just continue to harp on that HBCU culture here in Utica.
I know that's right. We will be right back after this break.
Are you ready to join the Welding and Cutting Technology Department at Hinds Community College Utica campus? The Hinds Utica Welding Program trains students to be proficient in a number of welding techniques. In the welding program at Hinds Utica, students prepare for entry-level employment in the field of welding and cutting. The program highlights field and shop safety, MIG welding, TIG welding, flux cord welding, and shear metal welding skills, basic blueprint reading, and more. The welder program also provides students with the time and space necessary to develop their skills in order to gain entry-level employment in the welding field. So don't delay. Come to Hinds Utica today and begin your career in welding.
We're back, and for those who are just joining us, we are talking to Dean of Students, Donny Epting. Mr. Epting, what tools will you use to increase student engagement?
It's one of those things where it's not complicated, it's not simple, but it's just a marriage of being able to continue this dialogue with the student. I'm a person that I believe in, you walk up to someone, hey, how are you doing? That is such a question that is so routine, but at the same time, when it comes from me, I want to know exactly what is going on, and that's layered, because it's, how are you doing today? How are things been before today? What are you looking to do in the future as well? So, just continuing that dialogue, meeting the students' needs where they are, and just making sure that we maintain that bond and that communication piece, because that is most important.
Yeah, I know how it is. Every time you walk in the room, my grandma used to tell me, every time you walk in the room, you need to speak to everybody in there.
That's right.
Okay. Can you explain how you would approach students who are struggling socially or academically?
So I'll speak first to the academic piece. We have a wealth of resources around the campus for our students who, may need assistance in our math labs or may need some assistance writing papers in their English class. So my big shtick on that is to make sure that our students know about those resources that are available on campus, and to get to know those folks who are in charge of those particular areas, and make those introductions where need be, and for the students to know that there is someone to help you as well. Now, socially, of course, I'm a person, I like to see different type of icebreakers and things like that. You maybe mix people from two different areas, such as maybe an academic student and a career tech student, or someone who's from the state of Mississippi and someone who's not from the state of Mississippi. You try to find those things that people may not necessarily have in common, so to speak, but as they may take a few moments to get to know one another, they'll find out that they do have some different things in common. As well as, with socially, I definitely want to make sure that everyone knows that we have a various amount of resources available in terms of things like mental health that's available for students, because the transition from high school to college is one that's a nice hurdle or a high hurdle for students to have to clear. And even going from one college to the next, if they're transferring from one college here to Hines, that can be a hurdle. Just, being able to adapt to a new place can have a student in that space where they feel like they may be struggling socially. So definitely just, again, want to make sure that the students know all the various resources available to them.
Okay. What strategies do you plan on using to build relationships with staff and faculty?
Well, I use an acronym quite often called TEAM. Together, everyone achieves more.
Uh-oh.
No one person does this stuff alone. And I don't want to be in a position where, I'm feeling like I'm doing it alone, or that the person in the office or the building next to me feels like they're doing it alone. Having those particular conversations, keeping that line of communication open, that begins the strategy piece as far as identifying some of the deficiencies that we may have, or some of the areas where we may need to improve, closing those gaps. So after those conversations are had, that's where you put a plan together to make sure those gaps are closed, make sure those deficiencies are no longer deficiencies, in order to have a better running environment.
Okay. How are you going to ensure that all students have access to the resources they need to succeed?
Again, it's just more about the more we preach it, the more we say it, the more we talk about it, the more it hits home for the students. So exposure, it would be the word I would use in that sense.
Thank you for joining me. That's all the time that we have for today. I've been your host, Tamora Haymon. Until next time.